I'm Trevor Warburton. I'm a retired optometrist, mostly. I had my own practice for almost all my career, but I sort of moved off into the political side, I suppose, joined the AOP. I was a director of AOP, then I was chair of AOP. I was involved in all sorts of committees. I stopped practice in the consulting room in November 2019. I retired from the AOP clinical role in 2020. The only things left are that I was a director of LOXU, which I finished at the end of last year, and I'm still a director of primary eye care, and I do a bit of tutoring at Cardiff University. Why did I pick optometry? I can remember I would have been 15 and I was learning to scuba dive, and I went on the first scuba dive and couldn't see a thing. So I came back from that dive saying, I need contact lenses. Up to that point, I think every optometrist I'd seen had been old, which probably means they were in their 30s. And the contact lens fitter was an itinerant fitter from Kelvin Watson's, and he was young, and he pitched up in his Lotus Cortina, and it all seemed very exciting, and I thought, I could do that. As I qualified, I moved to a contact lens practice in central Manchester, and about 18 months later, I acquired my own practice. That was Warburton Optometrists original. I have a funny feeling that not long after I'd got the practice, I might well have had a visit from the chair of the LOC. I think they tended to do that in those days. I think I've always interested in the concept of a group of people working together. I joined the local optical committee very soon after acquiring the practice. So the chair and the secretary were both AOP councillors, and the chair was planning on retiring from the AOP and persuaded me to stand. The other thing that I got stuck into around the same time as joining the AOP, but it was LOC stuff, were the initial, what were then called shared care schemes. We'd been approached by one of the diabetes physicians saying, was there something we could do to help? And we all sort of got it set up. And then I went to see the local commissioners and said, look, we can't really do this without funding. And he said, I wondered when you'd be coming to say that. And those services were the first time really that optometry had been paid for anything other than sight tests. Moving on from there, we had direct cataract referral, post-operative cataract, all the standard sort of stuff now. Then I became a director of the AOP, and then I chaired the Professional Services Committee of AOP, which at the time was the sort of committee that supported the development of shared care. It kind of does what LOXU does now. One of the things that we developed was quality in optometry. We dragged together a committee to look at what were the 7 domains of clinical governance in the NHS at the time and how we could make those relevant to optometry, and came up with a number of aspects. And then it was Jeff that really did the grunt work and put it all together. And its first form was a book that was distributed with Optometry Today. And then it became an interactive PDF. And then I always thought it needed to be a website. There was a lad in our swimming club who was a sixth former. He'd done the local optical committee website for us. So I dragged him down to London and he did the quality in optometry website, and I think he still does. And then I became the chair of the AOP in 2006 through to 2008. And then I'd no sooner stepped down as chair and I was employed by the AOP as a clinical advisor to the legal department. I also did some expert witness stuff. So I've experienced the GOC, courtroom, as it were. In that sort of later half, third maybe of my career, the thing I really got my kicks off were the supporting people, supporting other practitioners. So I really enjoyed it. I think there is an awful lot to be said for having a day of your week doing something else. I think it just gives you that bit of extra outside interest. I guess for me it was more politics. So I've had a very varied career, really. I mean, obviously I had the practice, which I concentrated on to start with, but by the time I was finishing, I was working in the practice less than my colleague was. Because I was doing other things the 3 days. I mean, still, things for which I was being remunerated, but so my focus changed. I think optometry today described it as a portfolio career once, and I would have to say the latter half of mine has been that. I've had a great and really interesting career. Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it.